50-year-old Mrs. Christiana Okbe, who retired as confidential secretary from Wema Bank, takes Alexander Okere through her life's story. And she said, "My name is Lady Christiana Okbe. I was born on December 16th, 1941. I am from Ijebu in Ogun State, and I retired as a confidential secretary at Wema Bank. My father wrote it down. He had a register where he wrote down children's dates of birth. So when we went to school and were asked for our dates of birth, he gave us the register to check our names and copy out our dates. Having been born in the late 1940s, she was asked, was your birth registered? And that was why she answered that question. What kind of parents did you have? My father was a ballet traditional ruler. He could write a bit. As a ballet, how many wives did he have? The wives were many. He had 7, and my mother was the second wife. How many children did he have? In the olden days, one could not tell. We just lived by a stroke of good luck. What kind of childhood did you have in a polygamous home? My father was very strict but nice. In those days, when he flogged any of us to correct us, he also flogged our mothers. So his children tried not to offend him, so their mothers would not be flogged. We feared him more than our mothers. Was your mother a trader? She said she was a trader and a serious one. She used to sell cocoa, palm kernel, and God blessed her. She used to sell to people on credit to enable them to raise money for their children's upkeep. She later extended her business to Lagos and used to take her goods to Lagos in a lorry. I used to ride a bicycle to the house of the lorry driver to call him and my mother at centers where our goods were taken to. Okay, what did you mean when you said you were lucky to have survived as a child? He said, I said so because of the kind of water we drank from the river in those days, but we were lucky because there was native medicine. Did you have any near-death experience? I remember one day I was sick at night with a stomach upset. My mother went out to call one man, Baba Watchman. He was a native doctor and a good man. Everybody approached him for medicine. When my mother met him, he gave us a black substance and told her to mix it with palm oil and give it to me. The next day, I could not go to school because I passed out live worms in my feces. However, for a long time, I did not have any issues with worms in my stomach. It was when I grew older that I realized that Baba was deforming people as of that time. You just mentioned that you were a puppy. Were children, especially the girl child, encouraged to go to school? She said, in our house, my father allowed us to go to school, but I did not start early. It was when I saw my younger sister writing that I insisted that I wanted to go to school. I attended a secondary school now called Adeola Odutola Comprehensive High School. We used to go to farm to cultivate as pupils. What did you do with your first salary? I worked with the Federal Ministry of Health on Broad Street, Lagos as a clerk and got my first salary there. I gave it to my parents to share with my elder ones who prayed for me. I used the remaining money for my transportation to work. So how did you join Wema Bank? I attended secretariat training. It was then I passed my examination that I applied to join Wema Bank, then known as a Agbomagbe Bank Limited, as a secretary. Working at Wema Bank was tedious. The salary was not big when I started, but things improved over the years. I used to resume work at 7:30 a.m. and when I started working there, we had a 2-hour break from 12 to 2 and didn't finish work until 5 p.m. Well, as a secretary in a bank, did you go for further training? I attended local training for a week or two until the bank started an academy. Why did you leave the civil service for a bank job? I left because of the better pay. When did you retire from the bank? I retired in December 1995. I retired as a confidential secretary to a Wema Bank branch manager in Lagos. My rise to the position of a confidential secretary was a bit slow because the bank had just started I joined the bank in 1972 and left in 1995. Was it your choice? I wanted to go. When the bank wanted to retrench some workers, I was asked whether I wanted to leave. I chose to go. What was your first day in retirement like? After retirement, I had to wake up early to prepare the children for school because they were still young. What have you been doing since you retired 26 years ago? I used to sell some food stuff like sugar and flour in a market, but the people who used to buy items from me on credit didn't pay. That discouraged me, so I stopped the business. Did you marry early? When I was in secondary school, suitors came, but my parents said I was not yet matured. They said I was still studying. I went to one of the schools in my area to look for my cousin when I met my husband for the first time. We attended the same primary school, but there was no interaction. On the day I went to look for my cousin, my husband asked me if I had seen one Olu that he was looking for, but I told him I didn't know where the person was. I had wondered why he asked me that question. Later, we became friends and started courting. I think God brought him to me. I got married early in November 1964 when we had the court wedding, and I don't even regret it. I was 23 then and he was 21. Wow. I was 23 and he was 21, but we didn't know because we were both young and in love, and we continued. I accorded him the respect. It is not common for Nigerian men to marry older Nigerian women. Should age matters? Age does not matter. It is understanding and love. For some women, if the man is older, they may be loved because they would fight all the time. They may not be loved. They might fight all the time. So where were you when the civil war broke out? She said I was in Lagos with my second child. It was a petrol bomb that notified me that the war had begun. I saw the flame from my balcony. Many people died. There was a time I was at Island Maternity and I had some Nigerian soldiers shooting. We were told that some people threw some bombs to the soldiers had to retaliate. The war was terrible. Was it War is not good. If a war starts in Nigeria, it will be worse than the civil war. War is nobody's friend. Getting out of it is a problem and things can never be the same. When there is a war, people flee from their homes. When the war started, I was on a bus going to work when some soldiers entered the bus and ordered the passengers to identify their tribes. When an Igbo man claimed to be Yoruba, the soldiers told them to pronounce Obalende or Toro Shilling. The ones that couldn't pronounce the two words were easily identified and picked up. We were all living together before the devil came in. Lagos was a place of merriment. There were parties in many places. If a war begins in Nigeria, it would be worse than the civil war. But the younger generation in Nigeria has continued to decry the hardship in the country with the high level of unemployment. As one who lived the heydays of Nigeria, do you sympathize with them? They are not alone in that. What about me? Some of them have something to do, but I don't, and I don't have a pension. What are you most thankful for at 80? I'm thankful for the grace of God. What do you do to stay fit? There's no special secret other than having confidence in oneself. I don't think much about the world. I relax and have a good spirit dealing with people, and I'm praying to God. I don't eat any special food, but I like rice. I like rice. Rice. That's nice one. Well, in a nutshell, everybody always talk about their own experience. Nobody wants to whatever, and that is why you see now people always say, yes, those who are calling for war, those who are like Nnamdi Kanu and Igbo, all of them saying war. Nobody is calling for war. They just say they need a referendum. You know that they say the government, all the government, not even only this one, just that this one is it's on another level. What people want is referendum. Just like he said, everybody, we are all in this together, but some people have decided to just keep quiet. So when you talk about all these things, they will say, oh, it is war. And that is propaganda they are using to suppress those who are asking for good governance, that we cannot continue like this with this arrangement that we have. And some people will begin to take it that say, they don't know what they are talking about, this and this and this and that. So the situation that we are in now, is that the right thing? And that is where and why you see that most of these government officials, they always like to use that as an excuse so that they will continue in their wickedness. They will tell you, nobody survive war, no country survive war. But you are behaving and acting what could propel war, and you don't want to stop. All these problems that we are having in this country, they are man-made, and they are just a simple, very tiny problem that people just escalate on unduly. How can we do we don't even need to, we don't have business. We shouldn't be having business with all this suffering, all this insecurity and whatever that we have. We don't have business with all of them. But it's a deliberate act. And when people begin to talk, they say, oh, you want to create war, but you are doing something that is not right. But they will tell you, just continue to be quiet. Those who are in political class, they feel that they're on top of the world. Just be patient. If you die inside, fine. If you survive, fine. Or you can just be managing. They don't want to be questioned. If you are questioned, and that is what is bringing all this whole thing, because they are being questioned and they are saying you are trying to bring war into this country. And that is why Buhari does not want to see eyeball to eyeball with all these agitations. He prefers bandits and all of them. Let them continue. And somebody was asking a question that even what we are experiencing now, even the war has not started, but what we are experiencing now, is it not worse than war? He prefers all of those people to just be doing Boko Haram, just be doing what they are doing. But I don't want to hear, say you want to call for a breakup or referendum. He doesn't want that. So the woman just talked about her own experience, and that is, and the question is now, so we go the day because we don't want war. The people who are really causing war are the ones who are deliberately bringing and causing suffering and hardship in this country. At this age and time, you say there should be no war, but you still go outside the country to go and receive treatment, and yet things are not working well. We don't have electricity supply 24/7 at this age and time, and you say there should be no war. Few people are eating while the majority are being bound to the Philistines, and you say there should be no war. They should not talk. You are creating the war, and you are saying, oh, those who are asking questions are the ones creating war. It's unfortunate. So guys, let's hear your opinion and have your take on this. Thank you.